Good afternoon, audience. This is the Hotness and Sweetly. Welcome back to another edition of our Restaurant Magic podcast show. Thank you so much for being here. Hey, Sweetly, how you doing?
Hey, girl, doing good. What about you?
I'm so happy you're here and you like to share. You like sort of took my notes away.
I'm back now.
Thank you. But audience, we are your foodies in action, and we're just so excited to be here. And the weather is gorgeous. We're in Raleigh, North Carolina, and we're just thanking God for the sun, right, Sweetly?
You know it. It is beautiful out there. And guess what? We have an awesome guest today, and we're going to talk about sweet things, as well as sweet things being healthy.
Yeah, your favorite thing, thus Sweetly. So, audience, we are here with Nicole. She is the owner and chef of Forte Desserts. Welcome, Nicole. How are you doing today?
I'm well, thank you.
So, Nicole, we're just going to start off right to the point. I love this name, Forte Desserts. So tell us where you got that name.
Well, my husband and I, we kind of came up with the name by just meshing some thoughts together. Originally, our flagship product was chocolate dipped cheesecakes on a stick. So what we experimented with was different chocolates, and hence the cocoa as the cocoa bean, and Forte because it was just something that we loved to do, and we kind of continued in learning more about, pairing the chocolates with toppings. So we just thought Cocoa Forte, and of course we do desserts.
Wow, I totally thought Forte was something different. Maybe because, honestly, because I used to take Spanish in school, and so you said Forte, I was thinking Forte, like strong, like you had strong desserts. Right. But Forte, I get it. I like it.
It's our thing.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay, that's cool. So how long have you been doing this thing?
I think it's been about 8 years. We started in 2011, but it was just a hobby. We did not plan on it being a business at all. We had a 10 by 10 tent, and we thought, hey, let's go make a little extra money and sell chocolate dipped cheesecake on a stick at events and festivals, and that's how we got started.
Wow. Just let's do this and see what it became. Now you're in business and with your husband.
Yes.
And so spouses and partners, how does that work?
We make it work. It's not easy, but
sure.
Like I said, we've been together 16 years. We've kind of grown up together,
okay.
And we learn about each other, and we learn how to deal with each other and how to work with each other. We don't stay mad too long simply because I always forget what happened the day before, so it's probably pretty easy for him.
That is so sweet. I'm always inspired when I see, couples, husband and wives, and business together, because that is not easy, right, Sweetly?
No, it's not. And I just say, from a biblical term, throw it in the sea of forgetfulness. So
right.
That's a good way to do that. And along with you guys doing the cheesecake chocolate dip thing, what makes your desserts unique from anybody else's?
Well, so our chocolate dipped cheesecakes, we sell strictly on our dessert trucks, where we go to food truck rodeos and we do private events. And that's unique simply because people don't really understand still what it is. They say, okay, cheesecake, but is it ice cream? Well, no, it's not ice cream. It is frozen, but it's still a slice of cake on a stick. And we dip it in chocolate and add a variety of toppings.
Okay, so tell me more about this. You said cheesecake? Is it like, so is it your recipe that you and your husband came up with, or it's more like a cheesecake per se, or is it more like cakey?
It's more like a New York style cheesecake.
Okay.
Now sometimes we do bring out another recipe that is gluten-free, depending on whatever our client needs are.
Mm-hmm. And audience, that's what I meant by healthy for you health nuts out there. It's gluten-free. You can have it like that, and that's awesome to have a dessert and still kind of get the things you need from it instead of just bad things. No, desserts are awesome.
They're always awesome. So your ingredients, are they all natural that you use?
Well, for our corporate catering, which is another side of our business, the dessert business, our recipes are natural. Depending on the client needs, sometimes we may use a food coloring, or we'll try to find a natural ingredient For example, we have a black velvet cupcake bite, because everything we do is in small bites for the catering side of everything. And that is actually colored, with black charcoal. So activated black charcoal. So it looks black, but it's not with food coloring because it really probably wouldn't taste well. So we use black activated charcoal for the food coloring there.
That is really awesome. You know why, Sweetly? Because the charcoal, you can also clean your teeth with it.
I know. You can clean your teeth with it, and it's black, but then your teeth come out beautiful and white. I have tried it. It works, audience. But back to Nicole and this wonderful desserts. Now, is there a favorite dessert that you have to cook a lot? And what about your catering part? Is that something that you and hubby just do alone?
Well, we do have several employees, and we actually, throughout our business years, we have, beefed up our employees and we cut back depending on the seasons. But typically when it comes to baking, I do not consider myself a baker at all, but I do all of the baking. Sometimes when we have huge parties, I do bring on someone that has worked with us before. She literally can knock out dozens and dozens of my recipes within 2 to 3 hours, and it amazes me. And I'm like, why doesn't she just stay with us? But typically, I do all of the baking of our cheesecake bites, cupcake bites, and our we do have staff that help us dip our chocolate-covered strawberries.
Okay. And where's your location?
We are at a commissary right off of Old Wake Forest Road. If you're familiar with Red Lobster and Conkey,
yes.
We're in that shopping center.
Okay. Wow. So they're near us. They're right here in the heart of Raleigh, right down Old Wake Forest Road. Cool. So you guys have to, folks that are in Raleigh, have to go try it out. Again, that's Coco Forte's Desserts. So look for them.
Yeah, so even if you're not in Raleigh, do you guys ship anything?
We do not ship. We don't currently have a license for that or any permitting. But if you go to our website, we do have, if you were to purchase, say you wanted to order corporate catering or next day delivery, we do offer that as long as you're in the Triangle area. So whenever you put in your shipping or delivery information, it'll prompt you whether if you're within or outside of the radius of our delivery, but we deliver all of our products.
Well, audience, you heard that, and they will deliver some to you as well. And tell us, for the audience out there, how did you guys just make this happen? And what would you do in order to pass it along to other people, or what would you say, to pass along to other people how they can make it happen?
Make like our business happen?
Yes, your business.
So we actually offer licensing with our dessert trucks. So anyone that wants to get into food trucking on a dessert scale, you just have to go through the Department of Agriculture. But we allow people to step into the food truck industry by licensing with us. Since our product is already well known in the area, we pretty much already have a calendar of shifts for the year, and then we have about 15 inquiries a week for private catering of just the food truck. So if anyone wanted to get into the food truck industry with desserts, they can just contact us through our website. But getting into catering is honestly still a work in progress for me. I'm still learning myself.
Okay, all right.
That's fair. And so even though you're still, learning things yourself and things like that, what's some advice you would tell someone that says, hey, Nicole, I see you are just, got your cheesecake on a stick. How did you do that? Like, what would be your advice to tell them what they need to do? Or just starting the business,
to start a business, it really takes a lot of research. You have to really have an understanding of what you want to do first. And if it's in the food industry, I would say always start with learning what it takes to build your menu and what it takes to make your recipes. because when you have your menus, when you can kind of figure out everything else, what equipment you're going to need, the processes you're going to take, if it'll take 1 or 2 people to manage, if you're going to be in a truck or if you're going to be in a brick and mortar or just corporate catering, and then everything else kind of falls into place. When you realize your types of food, then you know if you have to go with the Department of Agriculture, or which is with the state, or the Department of, your Wake County Nutritional Department, which is county, and then also your how you're going to pay your taxes. You have to go with the DOA. I'm sorry, not the DOA. The Department of Revenue, DOR.
Okay, DOR.
Yeah. But everything else kind of falls into place. Sometimes there's going to be questions you don't have answers to and you can't really find because the internet can be confusing.
Okay.
I recommend calling North Carolina Blink, which is Business Link of North Carolina, I believe. And whenever there are questions, and still to this day that I don't have the answers to, I call them. It's a free service out of North Carolina, and if they don't know the answers, they will find out for me as well.
So North Carolina Blink is a good go-to source for you people out there that want to be in the food industry. And has there ever been a time when you just said, Nicole, I don't want to do this no more? You know?
Yeah, about twice a year at minimum. At minimum. We have a partnership with 1-800-Flowers and Sherry's Berries. So during the high volume seasons, or holidays, which is Valentine's and Mother's Day, it can get very hectic and overwhelming. Typically, on a weekly basis, we have 1 or 2 employees in our shop with us, but during the week of those holidays, we'll have about 10 to 12, and then another 5 to 8 drivers, depending on how many orders we have. So managing those employees and contractors and drivers, and also managing inventory that's supposed to come in daily, making sure everything is washed, making sure everyone understands, especially the new people, how to maintain their hygiene while they're working with us, because a lot of times it's a high turnover just because the people that I hired in the last holiday already have a full-time job and they can't come back. So managing all of that can be overwhelming, and it's only in a week. So sometimes I break down like, it's just too many orders, I can't get them out.
And being a parent as well.
Oh yeah.
There's kids involved too.
By the way, we do have 2 children.
Yes.
They do have to eat every day.
Exactly. Well, let me ask you this, and this is kind of off the record, happening now. With this coronavirus thing going on, the food industry, I know they have different requirements now, or they're going to step up a whole lot of the sanitation. How do you feel about that, and how do you think it's going to change your Coco Forte's restaurant?
Actually, I've been thinking about that these past couple of days. Personally, I've received a lot of emails from companies, food places, and spas that I visit, and they're saying, the new processes they're putting in place, and I thought, wow, should I also send out an email to my customers? And I thought, what would I say? And actually, we have to take a course to be sanitary. We have to have a sanitation grade. When we start in the morning, we clean all of our surfaces. When we leave in the afternoon, we clean all of our surfaces. We wear hairnets. We do all the precautions that we're supposed to do anyway every day. There's nothing that we would change. Even when it comes to our children, they are so much hygiene aware. I guess that's how you would say it.
That's good.
Just because my husband and I are in the food industry, they also know we have to wash our hands when we get home. We have to change our clothes before we go outside. Wash our hands when we come inside, before we eat. So those habits that my husband and I already have are already instilled in our children. So we don't think that if they are carrying the coronavirus that they'll infect us.
Right, I totally understand, and it's a great question, Sweetly, because I know it's top of mind for everyone. But before we wrap, I was checking out your desserts on your website. I see the cheesecake bites. I got the regular cheesecake, And then you have this cocoa classic cheesecake slice. Now, what's that about?
So our classic is basically from our flagship product, the it's a milk chocolate dip. And we take our frozen cheesecake, we put a stick on it, we dip it in the milk chocolate dip, and then we add, I believe we add a dark chocolate drizzle on top.
Sweetly loves the dark chocolate.
Typically when you go to the fair or a festival, they'll just dip it in chocolate. We do the same thing, but we just add a little more flair. The dark chocolate brings a little fudginess to it.
So it's your unique way of doing it.
Yes.
Okay, is that your top seller, your signature dish?
Actually, our two signature or top sellers, I would say, is our cocoa chocolate peanut butter. So that is a chocolate that we infuse with a peanut butter dip.
What?
And
That's the one you brought
amazing. On top, we put crushed peanuts, and then we do a caramel and the dark chocolate fudgy drizzles on the top. And I like to tell our customers that it's kind of like a mix of a Snickers and a Reese's Pieces on an ice cream.
Wow.
Yes, Sweetly. I mean, this is just perfect for you. Sweetly eating all the sweets. But guess what, audience? The hotness is going to eat all of her sweets that Nicole bought.
So, Nicole, before we wrap it up, and this has just been awesome, and I thank you just for your dedication, and being like a super mom,
Super wife.
Yeah, and wife, and kudos to the hubby. We won't forget him because I know he's playing a big part in working hard as well. But we want you to let the foodies and the audience know how they can contact you, where, and all that good stuff. Put it out there so they'll know.
Well, you can visit our website at cocofortedesserts.com, and it pretty much will answer all of your questions. But if you need to, never hesitate to email us at info@cocofortedesserts.com. And I check my email every 30 minutes, so you should hear from me within that day or the next.
Not 24 hours, y'all, that day or the next. So that's good. That's good.
Yes, Cocoa Forte, and that's COCOA, Epson Frank, ORTE, desserts.com.
That's it. Well, we're going to wrap it up now, and thank you again, Nicole. This has been the
Hotness
and Sweetly, checking out what Cocoa Forte Desserts is all about.
Shouldn't laws be black and white? Doesn't everyone deserve the same treatment? For 15-year-old Gemini Berry, the answers are obvious. But then a crime shocks Gemini's small town, and she learns that many adults see things in shades of gray. In Mika Chanel's novel, Just as the Sky is Blue, Gemini Berry is forced to grow up fast when her mother agrees to play a central role in a sensational murder trial that tears her small town apart. As the trial spins out of control, secrets are revealed and old debts are settled, and Gemini's life is ultimately changed forever. Order Mika Chanel's book, Just as the Sky is Blue. Just as the Sky is Blue is available on Amazon.com, Kindle, and Audible.com.